Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome all of you. So we'll start with prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaurang Ki Jai Shri Shri Prahlad Nrsimhadev Bhagwan Ki Jai श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा welcome all of you. So in last few classes we were discussing about the food offered to the Lord, that is called prasadam, and yesterday very nicely we discussed that how prasadam influences our consciousness through a verse which was given in the Vedas. Ahara sattva, ahara suddham, sattva suddhi. If ahara is purified, ahar means diet, the food stuff which we are taking that is pure, then sattva suddhi, our existence will be purified. So hence it is very, very important for us to take a purified intake, that is purified food stuff. Food stuff should be very pure, because that food is only major portion which we are taking, and it is changing our consciousness. It is said in Padma Puran that because Krishna is Adhokshara, we cannot conceive the Lord. He is beyond our sense perception. So then how to see the Lord or how to perceive the Lord? Is there any process? Padma Puran says, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi न भवेत ग्राह्यम इंद्रियः सेवन मुखे ही जीवादव स्वयं एव ही स्फुरति अधः. The meaning is atah means therefore Shri Krishna नाम आदि, जो कृष्ण का नाम है एंड फॉर्म है, क्वालिटीज, पास्ट टाइम एटसेट्रा. अतः श्री कृष्ण नाम आदि, जो भगवान के नेम, फेम, पास्ट टाइम्स, एक्टिविटीज, adoration, all the entourage can never ever be perceived. Na bhavet, nahi ho sakta. You can never perceive by grahyam indriyai, by your blunt material senses. Our senses are blunt, but we are very much pumped up that I can see anything and everything. That is the biggest flaw which we all have, the biggest fallacy in which we are living in, greatest ignorance, darkness of ignorance, that we are in ignorance, but we think that I am enlightened, I am a very great personality, first show me God. No, grahyam indriyai, your senses are contaminated, your senses are blunt. So with your blunt material senses, we can never understand the name, form, qualities, pastimes, entourage of the Lord. So then, is there any process? Process is given. सेवन मुखे ही जीवादव, मीन्स अगर हम भगवान की सेवा करें, सेवन मुखे, कहाँ से, कैसे? हिमालय पे जाके तपस्या करें. कल वैसे भी हम लोग बद्रीनाथ जा रहे हैं. बद्रीनाथ में बहुत ठंड पड़ती है, एंड दोज हु वांट सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन in Satyug, Treta, Dwapar Yug, till that time, they used to go to Badrinath to perform austerities, because Badrinath is the place of the Lord in all the forms. Lord Krishna is doing wonderful pastimes, enjoying the mellows with his devotees. Somewhere he is stealing butter, somewhere he is stealing garments, somewhere he is doing Ras Leela, somewhere he is doing all kinds of mesmerizing and endearing pastimes. Then Narad Muni desired, my lord, whenever I see you, whenever I see you are always busy in pastime. Can you not just exhibit one kind of pastime where you are performing austerity, so that we brahmacharis, we devotees, those who are endeavoring to achieve you by performing austerities, get motivation by seeing you. Lord said, okay, Narad Muni, you are saying I should also practically demonstrate the austerities. Okay, granted your desire. So Lord Krishna personally appeared in Badrinath in the form of Narayan along with Arjun. Arjun and Krishna, they came in Nar Narayan Rishi, Nar Narayan form, and in Badrinath they are performing pastimes since time immemorial, since Satyuga. So not that Arjun is appeared in just Dwapar Yuga. No, Arjun, they're all the close associates of the Lord. They are just coming here to help the Lord in performing the pastimes. All the pure devotees, all the Gopas of Vrindavan, Brajavasis in Vrindavan, they are not the fallible people like us who are suffering from lust, anger, greed. No, there are two kinds of living being which we'll understand in 15th chapter. One is fallible, another is infallible. Dvau imau purushau loke kshar akshar evacha kshara sarvani bhutani akshar kutastha uchate. So there are two kinds of living beings. One is called fallible, another is called infallible. All the living entities who are there in this material world suffering from these desires, material desires, they are called fallible. We have fallen down into this world. But there is another kind of living entities, they are called infallible. They have come here to help the Lord. They have come here just like Prabhupada. Now, externally, you can see Prabhupada is also becoming old. Prabhupada is also suffering from diseases. But no, he is liberated. He is called Jivan Mukta. We are called Nitya. He is Nitya Baddha. We are Nitya Mukta. We are Nitya Mukta. Nitya Baddha. Prabhupada is Nitya Mukta. Nitya Mukta means eternally liberated. We are eternally conditioned. So the personalities, they appear like Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the Goswamis, Krishna personally, Arjun. These personalities, they come to exhibit the past time so that we living entities who are conditioned here in this world by so many desires and attachments, we are conditioned here, we may develop our attachment towards Krishna and get attracted to Krishna and go back to Krishna. That is the whole program which we have already discussed. What is the program of this material world? The whole program is to take all the conditioned soul to back to Krishna. That is the program of Krishna. So now Nar Narayan also, who are Arjuna and Krishna only, they appeared in the form of Nar Narayan when performing austerities in Badrinath. So these processes were given in Satyug, Treta, Dwapar. Now Kaliyug, you cannot do the austerities and penances. So therefore, Padma Purana says, Atah Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriye sevan mukhe hi jihvadav. We have to do seva. How we have to do seva? Mukhe hi jihva. Mukh se agar seva kare hum. Now, what is the business of mouth? Mouth has got two businesses. What? One is speaking, another is
and what to eating.
these are the two businesses which mouth has got, our tongue has got. Atas sevan mukhe hi jihvadav. If we use our tongue, then by use the proper utilization of tongue, swayam eva hi spuratyada. Naturally, automatically, Lord will be manifested in our heart. Spuratyada, he will be manifested. Now, how to use our tongue appropriately, properly? That is said that when we vibrate our tongue in chanting the name of Krishna or glorifying the pastimes of Krishna or preaching about Krishna, that is the business of tongue. That is one business. Second business is eating. So these two things we like to do, no? Speaking and eating. We go on doing these two things. Other things we may pause it, but these two things will never pause. Eating, we'll go on eating, and we'll go on speaking. So if we can control our tongue and speak only matters related to Krishna or anything which is about Krishna, like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, any discussion also you are doing that is related to Krishna. Now you will say, Prabhuji, my discussion is related to study, materialistic it is not related to Krishna. But no, when that study should be, if it is connected with Krishna, then that is discussion about study also is about Krishna. So when we discuss the pastimes, the activities, and preaching about the Lord, and eat only food which is offered to the Lord, that is Krishna Prasadam, then by these two things if we do, and these two things are very very easy to follow. Otherwise, earlier to realize Krishna, it would take thousands of years of austerities, like 50,000, 60,000. Valmiki performed 60,000 years of austerities, then he could realize God. But here in our case, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a grand discount, very high discounted rate पे हमें मिल रहा है भगवान की भक्ति. That is just chant Hare Krishna and eat Krishna Prasadam. These two things, if we can commit and do throughout our whole life, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has promised. Padma Purana, this verse is saying, Swayam eva hi spurati yada, you will realize Krishna. So see now how prasadam is so important. So we cannot neglect either of the two, prasadam and preaching or chanting Hare Krishna mantra. You chant Hare Krishna and you take Krishna prasadam, you see changes will happen here in the heart. So that's why this third chapter explains about why we should take prasadam. So we have discussed very nicely. There is one pastime also which I will share today about the prasadam itself, how prasadam influences the consciousness. Very real pastime about Prabhupada. When Prabhupada was traveling, Prabhupada traveled very very extensively. In those 10 years, from 66 to 77, Prabhupada traveled all over the world practically. Encircled the globe 14 times. Imagine 14 times Prabhupada circled the globe. Prabhupada has encircled the globe 14 times, just 10 years. And he made whole world Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada would often travel. So while once he was traveling, what happened with him? Let us see, very, very inspiring pastime. You will all get inspired and develop attachment with Krishna, Prabhupada. So this pastime is about a hostess. An air hostess became devotee of Krishna by small association with Srila Prabhupada. There is one devotee, Shruta Kirti, he is sharing what happened when he was traveling along with Prabhupada. So he is saying that it was February of 1975. We were on an airplane from Mexico City to Caracas. Mexico से Caracas जा रहे थे. When we left Mexico City, a devotee lady handed me a bag with some spicy puffed rice with peanuts that was wrapped in aluminum foil. Generally, we wrap with aluminum foil and we hand over to somebody. So when devotee Mataji was there, she handed over some prasadam, that was puffed rice and peanuts, to this devotee. 2 hours later, we were in the air. As soon as the fasten your seatbelt sign went out, Srila Prabhupada was ready to take prasadam. This was typical of every flight he took. So Prabhupada, when he would took off, he would immediately ask for prasadam. So then Prabhupada asked for prasadam. He was ready. I put his table down and placed the wrapped prasadam on it. So अगर आप travel किए flight से, then you would see that before your seat there is a system where you can open your seat, open your table, and you can use your laptop, or you can read, or you can have your dinner or lunch, whatever. That system is there. So table down and placed the wrapped prasadam on it. I then opened it up and he honored it using the foil as the plate. So Prabhupada started honoring prasadam. He ate for about 10 minutes or so, honoring half of it, and then he just looked at me and said, okay. Prabhupada said, okay, now I'm done. Prabhupada was always taking care of us, this devotee is sharing. Who is that devotee? Shruta Kirti. I moved the puffed rice over to my table and ripped the foil in half. So उन्होंने foil को दो टुकड़ों में बांट दिया. I gave half to Paramhamsa. There is another devotee along with this devotee who is sharing. So there are total three persons, one Prabhupada and two other devotees, Paramhamsa and Shrutakirti. The other half I had in front of me. तो आधा divide कर लिया दोनों लोगों ने. Now I was sitting in the middle seat and Paramhamsa was by the asl. So gallery की side में Paramhamsa बैठे थे. Asl means gallery. So on the side of gallery, Paramahansa was sitting in between this devotee who is sharing this pastime. Prabhupada was towards the wall. We were both eating our puffed rice and peanuts for a few minutes. When a stewardess means air hostess, who arranges all those requirements in the flight. Walking, stewardess, that's especially women. Walking down the aisle, stopped right in front of our seats. So she was walking down and stopped in front of the seat. She reached over past my godbrother, and put her hand in my plate and grabbed a handful of puffed rice. So what she did, she came and put her hand in the plate of the devotee who is eating and grabbed puffed rice, and what she did, she threw it in her mouth and after eating said, so मुंह में डाल ली तुरंत, immediately said, oh, this is wonderful. What is it? उसने बोला, oh, ये तो बहुत अच्छा है. क्या है ये? I said, puffed rice. Then this lady responded, why are you eating this? She responded, shocked at what she had done. I said, we have our own diet and we are vegetarian. So this devotee is saying, we don't take anything outside because generally in flight and all, they only serve non-veg. So Prabhu, this devotee is sharing that we carry our own food and we are vegetarian. We take only prasadam. So we are eating this. She said, oh, is there anything else I can get you? So she thought that they only want vegetarian. So now she is asking from the devotee that, can I get anything for you? I looked at Prabhupada and he looked at me saying, hot milk. So Prabhupada ne bola, hot milk. She said, fine, I'll be right back. Is there anything else you want? So she's asking more. I can get into the first class kitchen and get it for you. I can get fruit, cheese and bread. So she offered so many things that if you want to have these things, fruit, cheese, I can bring. So Prabhupada then said, no, finally we want milk, only hot milk. Again, I looked at Prabhupada and she said, yes, it is okay. So after 10 minutes, she comes back with 3 plates. So after 10 minutes, she comes back from the first class kitchen. As she left, I turned to Prabhupada and said, so when that lady, air hostess, stewardess, she went to kitchen, this devotee turned towards Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, that's amazing, isn't it? So bolti, oh, it's amazing, Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, no, women, they have natural propensity to serve. So Prabhupada immediately gave one instruction that women have got natural propensity to serve. Now, artificially, in today's modern era, we are trying to curb this. We are trying to become artificial, superficial. Now, women don't want to serve that, but there is natural tendency. But they want to serve the way they want. But if they want to be happy, they should serve according to the rules and regulations, according to the social custom. What is the tradition? If women follow, by nature they have the heart, they have the propensity to serve. Always, Lord has designed the body in such a way they are promptly and proactively they are into the mood of service. But if that service is not properly directed, then that service will be done in wrong direction, and that will create problem for herself and for the society also. Therefore, women require guidance always, so that every step they can be guided and their life should be meaningful and they achieve the perfection in their life. Otherwise, by their own, if they decide anything which is not good, then that will create havoc in their individual life and collectively also. So because naturally they have propensity to serve somebody. Of course, I was thinking it was amazing that Situ Prabhupada's Maha Prasadam. Okay, that was another thing. Now here you see the climax, main thing what happened. So this devotee is sharing the main thing now. Here is the main key thing which I wanted to note you down. I was thinking it was amazing that she took Prabhupada's Maha Prasadam. So when we offer anything to Krishna, that becomes Maha Prasadam. But when we offer that Mahaprasadam to Prabhupada, and when then we take, it becomes Mahaprasadam. When we take anything which is offered to Prabhupada, when we take remnants of Prabhupada, then it becomes even more exalted. So now, so this lady, this stewardess, air hostess, now she has partook into the remnants of Prabhupada. So this devotee is saying that I was thinking it was amazing that she took Prabhupada's Mahaprasadam right off my plate. Somehow or other she got what all of us were mad after Prabhupada's remnant. Generally, what would happen? Devotees would fight among themselves to get the remnants leftovers of Prabhupada. Whenever Prabhupada would have his prasadam, if something is remaining, devotees will fight and they will try to have that. But here, this lady, she by her great fortune, somehow or other, she got the remnants of Prabhupada so easily. So when I travel to different temples, it is always one of my favorite stories to share with others. One day I was giving class in New Dwarka and told this story. After class, a devotee boy came up to me and said, "That's an amazing story." So ये story जो हुआ छोटा सा पास टाइम, ये जो श्रुत कीर्ति प्रभु ये कहीं भी जाते हैं, he would share this past time. Now that's amazing story. Can I tell you Sankirtan story? Now another boy. So New Dwarka is in Brazil. So this devotee, he keeps traveling, and now this time he is in New Dwarka, Brazil. So here he started sharing the same pastime. Now after hearing this pastime, one boy stood up, one devotee boy, and he said, "Can I share you a Sankirtan story?" Yes, all right. So he said, now this devotee student he's sharing, we would go out to the villages far from all the cities in Brazil. ब्राजील में दूर सिटी से दूर जाके वहां पर बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करते. You have to go by 4-wheel drive. One day we were in the rainforest, really far away from everywhere, and we found this village and we did our Harinam in the center of town. So this devotee went with 4-wheelers. Some few devotees would go far from the city and to some village they went and they started doing Sankirtan in the midst of the town. Then we began going door to door to distribute books. So this was the culture in amongst the devotees. They would do Sankirtan for half an hour or 1 hour. Then all the devotees, they would go room to room, door to door to distribute Prabhupada's books. I went to this one house and knocked on the door. Now this devotee who is there now who is saying, the student, he went to one room and knocked the door. A woman answered and I tried to distribute books to her. So एक woman आती है और उसको ये student preach करने की कोशिश करता है. As soon as she saw me in my dhoti and kurta, she invited me in. So उसने अंदर बुलाया. I went in and started seeing that there were pictures of Krishna on the wall. And she said she had an altar. She had deities. Deity means Lord Krishna's form, Vigraha. He was surprised. Then he said, "You are a devotee?" And she said, "Yes, yes. It's so wonderful to see a devotee here." And he said, "How did you become a devotee?" Now, out of curiosity, no, in remote area somewhere in the village, one lady is there. She's a devotee, and she's having all the books of Prabhupada. She's having all the photos of Krishna, deity of Krishna. How wonderful it is. How did now the natural question would be how you became a devotee? She said, "Well, the first time I met devotees was when I met Prabhupada on an airplane. I was a stewardess." Just see, coincidence. Now this student is meeting to the same stewardess who had taken the prasadam jutha of Prabhupada. So this was the woman. It was 10 years from that time she had taken Srila Prabhupada's remnants. Now the first above image, this pastime, till this pastime, it happened in 1975. And This pastime which this student is sharing, this happened 1985, 10 years later. Sometimes later she met devotees again and got a book, and that was it. That was the beginning of her spiritual life. So she took the part she partook in the Mahaprasadam of Prabhupada, Jutha Prabhupada, and transformation began in her life. She became the great devotee of Krishna. Just see what Prabhupada has done it. It's mind-boggling to understand the unlimited ways Prabhupada has made devotees, and it just goes on and on to this day. So you just see how Prabhupada would make devotees. In fact, Prabhupada's personality was so attractive, so powerful that by seeing Prabhupada, people would become devotee. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult in foreign world to make devotees, to convert them Krishna consciousness, to make them understand about the philosophy of Krishna. It was only because of the charm of Prabhupada that the whole world became devotee of Krishna. Becoming devotee is not so easy, huh? Following the yoga practices and all those things is very easy, because in all those practices you still continue your bad habits. But becoming devotee means you have to give up your bad habits. You have to stop meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and illicit affairs. So to become a devotee is not so easy. The rarest thing in this world is to become devotee of Krishna. Anything else people can become, but to become a devotee of Krishna. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that what is that thing? What is the most famous thing to achieve in this world? What is the most famous thing to achieve in this world? कौन सा position achieve कर लें, we become most famous? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to become famous as the devotee of Krishna is the highest thing, greatest thing in this world. Becoming IAS, PCS, CEO, CFO, president, these are all petty things, not very great things. To be known as the devotee of Krishna is the highest thing in this world. Because not only in this world you will be glorified, you will be glorified in the whole universe, in the spiritual world also. So that is the potency, that is the greatness of becoming devotee. And Prabhupada made such devotees all over the world by his just presence, by his charm, by his books. Anybody would read book would become devotee. One time, one person decided to commit suicide by, he closed the car, कार बंद कर दिया पूरा, मिरर वगैरह एवरीथिंग, एंड उसने आउटलेट को इनलेट से कनेक्ट कर दिया एंड कार स्टार्ट कर दिया. So that gas which goes outside, carbon monoxide, started coming inside the car only. And now he wanted to die very sweet death. So he has closed the windows. He was frustrated. So now he has started the car, and now the carbon monoxide is spreading inside the car. Suddenly one devotee comes and knocks the glass by showing the one book called Beyond Birth and Death. So now this devotee, this person who was going to commit suicide, he just ignored it. So devotee continued. But then he realized, oh, beyond birth and death, now I'm going to die. What will happen after that death? So it became a little inquisitive. Is there anything after death also? So then he opened the mirror and called, please come in, excuse me. So he called that devotee and purchased that Beyond Birth and Death book. And he started reading one after another, one page, another page. It was so enlightening for him that person who was going to commit suicide, he cancelled suicide and became devotee full time. He dedicated his life and became a very great preacher. You see, these are the potencies of Prabhupada's books. So now here I'll stop. From tomorrow onwards, may be or may not be, I'm not sure till tomorrow. We are starting our trip to Badrinath. We are going. May not be possible because their internet facilities, all those things will not be there. It is 10,000 feet height, from the uh, sea level. So there will be no connection, nothing. So classes would not be possible. If any possibility would be there here in the temple, then I'd set the link. Other classes which are going in parallel in the temple, you can attend those classes. And now focus, your main focus should be now for next 10 days. I'll be back on 12th. Next 12 days, you should read Prabhupada's books very nicely. Now we have completed first two chapter, third chapter half. And third chapter बहुत अच्छा भी instructions Krishna will give, that what are the enemies in us. Arjuna will ask question that sometimes, Krishna, I don't want to do anything, any activity, but one force I'll get from inside and it will propel me to do that sinful activity much against my wish and will. What is that force? Many, we also feel, no, this same thing. Arjuna is also feeling that and is asking. So Krishna will respond in third chapter, later part of the chapter. So after coming, we'll discuss that, and then we'll continue. So but these 10-12 days you focus on the reading Prabhupada's books, you complete this 3 chapters, and the book which you have got, which you have received, Prabhupada's books, and chant nicely, and become Krishna conscious. Just see here, Prabhupada is, by his mere presence, anybody who would read Prabhupada's books, he is bound to become devotee. So we have to become devotee of Krishna. Otherwise, this material world is a place of suffering. Horrible world this is. At any time, anything can happen. We don't know. So only thing to get out of this insecure place is to become devotee and go back to most secure place, that is go to back to Godhead. So that should be always in our mind, that what today I am, what am I doing is just a duty, but my main duty is to go back to Krishna. Okay, so with this I'll stop. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any question, you can ask.